Hi, in this class I'm going to cover basic things that are really important for the newcomers. These features might be part of your day-to-day job task, or you may require these things to be performed while decommissioning the site or deploying a new site. Hence, be with me till the end of this class to learn these features. So what we are going to learn today? So in this class, we will set up a clock for the router. We will set up a banner for the login screen. We will encrypt the password, which is stored as a plain text format in the running configuration or the startup configuration. We will set up a router as a DNS server. We will secure our router with the SSH feature. We will also configure a router with HTTP and HTTPS feature. We will also see how to factory reset the router interface. And last not the least, we will factory reset the Cisco iOS router. So let's start with the feature how to set up a clock. Okay, first thing is all Cisco iOS router supports manual and dynamic time services. Time services allow the router to keep track of the current date and the time. So why do we use such features in the router? Generally, keeping all the network devices synchronized to the same date and the time is important. And it's really important when you are attempting to troubleshoot problems from the syslog messages. In this section, we will learn how to update the time and date in the router. Also, we will learn how to change the time zone for the router. Let me tell you, there are two ways to set up a clock for the router. Either you can configure the clock manually or you can configure the NTP feature on the router. The NTP protocol syncs up with the master clock or the NTP server and configures the clock of the local router dynamically. Here in this class, I will configure the clock manually and the NTP part will be covered in the upcoming videos. In Cisco devices, the default time zone of the software clock is set to Coordinated Universal Time, which is UTC. But you can override or change the existing time zone with a manual configuration. Before making any changes on the router, let's first check the time zone for the router. So the command is show clock. Show clock. So here you can see the time zone is UTC. So let's change the time zone from UTC to IST because I am in India. The command is clock time zone and then we have to select the time zone which is IST and we need to choose the coordinated time based on India. So according to India it is plus 5:30. So we have to set the same coordinated time here and that's it. So we have successfully changed the time zone from UTC to IST. Now let's verify the clock again. So command is show clock. Previously it was UTC and now it is IST. But there is a problem here. As soon as you change the time zone for the router, it affects the clock of the router. Let me show you. So command is show clock. Right now you can see the time is 23:46 minutes and 11 seconds, which is incorrect because the current time is 19 hours 22 minutes 37 seconds. So to change the time of this router, you need to use the command clock set and that command need to be executed on privilege mode. So let's change the clock for this router and the command is clock set. Then we need to give the correct time. The time is 1923. So I'm using the 1923 and then giving the 45 seconds. Then we need to choose the month, day of the month, which is 5th April and the calendar year. So calendar year is 2022. That's it. So we have successfully changed the time for this router. Now we can verify the clock. So clock is 19:23:52 seconds. Time zone is IST. Day is Tuesday. Month is April. Date is 5th and year is 2022. You also have the option to set the summer time on this router. Assume it, the summer time begins from 1st April and ends on 31st of October. So to enter the summer season information on the router, use the command clock summer time and that command has to be executed on global configuration mode. So let's first go to the global configuration mode, and the command is clock summertime. So summertime, which zone? So I'm choosing the zone IST, and the date is 5th April 2022. Time starts from 00. I'm taking just a sample for you. I'm not entering the correct time here. End date is 31st of October for this year, and the time is also 0000. That's it. So with this command, you can also set the summer time on this router. So that's how you can update the calendar for the router. You can change the time, you can change the date, also you can change the time zone, even you can update the summer time on the router. That's it in this section. So let's move to the next topic, which is how to set up a banner on the router. This is another a good feature. The login banner is used to display a warning message to everyone. Either the user is authorized or the user is unauthorized. The banner is most commonly used to display security warnings and information messages to everyone. There are different types of banner messages, such as message of the day, or you can say MOTD. Second one is login banner, and the last one is EXE banner. These can be displayed in the CLI before or after logging into the router. As I said, Cisco iOS devices supports a number of banners that are presented to users when they use the console line or when they connect to the router remotely using the Telnet or SSH protocol. There are three most common banners that can be configured on the Cisco devices. So first one is MOTD banner, second one is login banner, and third one is EXE banner. So let's first understand what is MOTD banner. The message of the day. The message of the day banner will be displayed before user authenticates to the device. This type of banner may change regularly. Sometime you will see a message, the device is under maintenance or device is under maintenance for a software upgradation. So such kind of messages you can regularly see when you log in onto the device. To create a MOTD banner or the message of the day banner on the Cisco router, use the command banner MOTD on the global configuration mode. Let me do it for you. So right now I am on privilege mode. Let's go to the configuration mode or the global configuration mode. The command is banner MOTD, and we need to use any symbol as a delimiter character to initiate, start and stop of the banner configuration. So right now I'm using the delimiter character as a dollar. Then we need to press the enter key. I'm typing the message MOTD. A message of the day banner is presented to everyone that connects to the router. Paste it. And then we need to use the same delimiter to end the message configuration. That's it. To verify the configuration, you just need to run the command show running configuration, and at the bottom you will see the MOTD banner is available. Now it's time to validate whether the banner can be displayed on the screen when trying to access this router. Let me log out from the router first. So command is exit. Now you can see the message we typed for the MOTD banner is displayed on the screen. So this is how the MOTD banner works. So let's move to the next banner, which is login banner. The login banner will also be displayed before the user authenticates to the device. It will show up after the MOTD banner. Unlike the MOTD banner, it is designed to commonly display legal notices, such as security warnings and more prominent message to the user. To create a login banner on the router, the command need to be executed on the global configuration mode. And the command is banner login. So let me do this for you. Let's go to the global configuration mode. And the command is banner login. Here again, we need to use the delimiting character to initiate, start and stop of the banner configuration. So I'm using the hash sign here, And then I need to type the message warning authorized personnel only. Then again we need to use the delimiting character to end the message. That's it. Now it's time to validate whether the banner can be displayed on the screen when trying to access the router. Let me log in from the router first and we'll see whether it's working or not. So exit, again exit. Okay, yes, I can see the message. Even you can also see the message we typed for the login banner. So first message is for the MOTD banner and the second message is login banner. So that's it in the login banner. Let's move to the next banner, which is EXEC banner. We use EXE banner to display messages after the user or network administrator authenticates to the router and before the user enters privilege mode. Unlike a MOTD banner, the EXE banner is designed to be more of a permanent message and would not change frequently. To create a EXE banner on the Cisco router, the command need to be executed on the global configuration mode. So let me do it for you. So right now I'm on global configuration mode. The command is banner. The command is banner exec, and then we need to use this any symbol, letter or number as a delimiting character to initiate, start and stop of the banner configuration. So I'm using the letter here 8, then enter, and then I have to type the message. Then I need to use the same delimiting character to end the configuration. That's it. So let's verify the exe banner configuration in the running configuration. So run. So you can see the banner exe command and the message which we use for the banner exe. Now it's time to validate whether the banner can be displayed on the screen when trying to access the router. So let me log out from the router first. Okay, we have seen the message for MOTD, then we have seen the message for login. Now it's time to enter the password. Now you can see the message which we applied for the banner exe. So that's it in the banner. So we have successfully configured MOTD banner, message of the day banner, and we have successfully configured login banner. Then we have successfully configured exe banner. So let's move to the next topic, which is password encryption, or we are going to encrypt plain text password into the level 7 password. Most of the password are stored by default as a clear text in the router. This means that anyone standing behind you is able to see the passwords configured on the router. Generally, it happens when you type the command show running config or show startup config. This is called shoulder surfing. People will also be able to see these passwords if the configuration is saved on a TFTP server or disk, as these passwords are stored in clear text format. Service password encryption will encrypt these passwords. It will encrypt the enable password as well as encrypt all other clear text passwords stored in the router, including VTY, auxiliary, console, and user password. But there is a weak point of it. The command service password encryption uses weak encryption method and can easily be cracked. Cisco says that this encryption should be used for a situation where someone is looking over your shoulder and you type the command show run or any other command that displays the password. Service password encryption would prevent that person seeing the password in a clear text format. In this slide, at the left hand side, you can see the passwords are written in clear text format. Now, if you see the right hand side, the passwords are encrypted, which are not easy to remember. So you cannot remember this password, this password, this password, and this password. So in general, you can easily remember the password which are in clear text format, but you cannot remember the password which are in encrypted format. Let's check the same on the running configuration of the router. So the command is show run Let's scroll up for a little bit. Now you can see that the enable password is technocafe at 123, which is more clear for you. The next line you can see username is technocafe and the password is technocafe. So anyone standing behind you can easily understand the password or the username. Now let's move to the console part and the VTY part. So you can see the console password is Cisco and the VTY password is also Cisco, which can also be readable. So what is the command to encrypt the password? So command is very easy. You need to execute this command on the global configuration mode. So the command is service password encryption. That's it. Let's see whether all the passwords are stored as a clear text or encrypted. So we need to go into the running configuration. Okay, so now the enable password has been encrypted, so it's not easy to remember. Next is username and the password. So username is readable, but the password is not at all readable. Now let's check the password applied on the console as well as the VTY. So you can see the password has been encrypted and the VTY password is also encrypted. As I told you that the level 7 password can easily be cracked, let me show you how you can crack the level 7 password. Use the website www.password-decrypt.com. Copy the password. So I'm going to copy the line console password and then paste it here and then submit. So you can see that the password has been decrypted and we can see the plain text password, which is Cisco. So let me decrypt one more password for you. I'm going to use this level 7 password and paste it here. Now you can see the password has been decrypted, which is technocafe. Let me decrypt this password, which is very long. So you can see that it has successfully decrypted the password, which is technocafe at 123. So as you see, the level 7 password has been decrypted easily within a few seconds. So it is not at all secure, but it's far better than keeping the plain text password in the running configuration and the startup configuration. That's it in the password encryption section. Let's move to the next topic. And the next topic is Cisco IOS router as a DNS server. Before setting up a DNS on a Cisco router, let me tell you, the DNS protocol is used to resolve FQDN, fully qualified domain name, to IP addresses around the world. This allows us to successfully find and connect to internet websites and services. No matter where they are located, DNS helps to find the correct IP address. In this section, I will show you how to configure a Cisco router to provide DNS services to your network and make all clients use it as a DNS server. The first step is to enable the DNS service and domain lookup on the Cisco router. All these commands has to be executed on the global configuration mode. So right now I'm on global configuration mode, and then let's start our command to execute on this platform. So the very first command is IP DNS server. So we are going to make this router as a DNS server. That's what I am using this command, IP DNS server. The next command is IP domain lookup. So IP domain lookup is required if any queries or any request is coming on this router. It will try to look up the records. In the next section, we need to configure the router with a public name server. This will force the router to perform recursive DNS lookup. In other words, for every request it receives from the workstation, the router will try to find the answer by asking as many DNS servers is needed and finally return the answer. So the public DNS IP address is IP name server 4.2.2.2 and IP name server 8.8.8. The Cisco IOS will allow you to enter up to 6 different name servers. In the next step is to configure your DNS server with the host name of your local network. So I'm going to create an entry. So IP host INUPLKO and the host name is WN01 and the IP address for this is 192.168.100.151. Now let's do the next entry for the next device. IP host INUPLKO DIS01 and the IP address for this device is 100.152. Let's make one more entry for the switch. So IP host INUPLKO ACC access switch 01 and the IP address for this device is 154. Now in the next step, we need to tell each device which is your local DNS server. So I'm going to configure these things on the router 1, which is INUPLKO WAN01. So the configuration is IP name server technocafe.com. Sorry, IP name server 192.168.150.100.153. And the next command is IP domain lookup. That's it. Now the same command I have to apply on the distribution router, an IP domain lookup. The same command has to be executed on the other device. So I'm going to do it here, IP name server and then IP domain lookup. Now it's time to verify whether my local DNS server is resolving the name to IP or IP to name entries. So I'm trying to ping INUPLKOACC01 device and I'm not using the IP address to ping the device. So ping INUPLKOACC01. Yes, it's working perfectly. Let me try to ping the another device which is INUPLKODIS01. Let's see it's working or not. Yes, it's working perfectly. So that's how you can make a router as a DNS server. But this is not at all usable in the production because we have a dedicated servers available in the market, and it could be a Microsoft server, it could be a Linux server that you can use it and deploy in the production network. But in case you are working in a tech environment or you are working on a case and you need a DNS server immediately, what you can do is you can create a DNS service on a Cisco router and you can start using it. That's all, my friend, in the DNS part. Let's move to the next part. So the next part is how to configure a VTY session for the SSH protocol. The SSH protocol is a method for secure remote login from one device to another device. SSH provides a secure channel over an unsecured network in a server-client architecture. The first step is to check whether your Cisco router supports SSH or not. Nowadays, most modern Cisco router supports SSH feature. This should not be any problem for you. So let me tell you which product line supports weak encryption or which product line supports strong encryption. The products with K9 image supports strong encryption with 3DES and AES, whereas K8 iOS image supports weak encryption with the outdated DES encryption method. To check this, simply execute the command show IP SSH. Let me do this for you. So the command is show. So the command is show IP SSH. So you can see here the SSH is disabled and the version is 1.99. And it also indicates that please create a RSA keys to enable SSH. It's always a good idea to first restrict access to the Cisco router before enabling SSH. This is very important, especially when the device has an interface facing public network, example internet or public hotspot. Either you can block the access for the public users or you can shut down the public facing interface. Generally, we first create a user credential for the device and then enable the AAA authentication. Also, make sure you configure enable secret password on a router to protect access to the privilege level, along with the service encryption password command to ensure clear text password are encrypted. Since I'm working on a lab environment, so I'm not going to configure all these features. In the next step, we need to generate a RSA key pair so that it will be used by the SSH to help to encrypt the communication channel. But before generating RSA key, it is necessary to define the domain name using the command IP domain name and followed by the crypto key generate command. So let me first define the domain name and later on we will generate the crypto key. So the command is to define the domain name IP domain name technocafe.com. So the next command is to generate the RSA key. So for that we need to execute the command crypto key generate RSA module, and we need to give the size for the encryption. So I'm using the 2048. When generating the key pair, the router notifies us with the name used for the keys. So which name it has used. So you can see the name for the key will be INUPLKO WAN01.technocafe.com. Even also you can see that the SSH 1.99 has been enabled. Now let's put the remaining configuration to activate the SSH feature. So command is pretty simple. You have already seen these commands when we are enabling the telnet feature. So I'm going to work on a VTY part. So line VTY 0 to 4. The next command is transport input, and then you have a multiple options to allow. I'm using here telnet and SSH. But it is highly recommended to restrict remote access via the SSH protocol only. This will ensure that insecure service such as telnet cannot be used to access the router. Now the next command is login local and the password is Cisco. With these command, we can enable the SSH feature on the router and we can securely access the router from across the globe. So let's verify whether we are able to access the router securely with the SSH feature. So I need to put the IP address for my router, which is 192.168.100.151, and I have selected the option SSH and then just click on open. We need to accept the security. The username is Techno Cafe and the password is Techno Cafe. Yes, I am successfully logged in on the router. Now let's execute the enable command and then the password is technocafe at 123. Okay, to view any active SSH session, simply use the command show SSH. So let me use the command show SSH. With the show SSH command, you can see many options, so like version and the username of the person who is actually accessing this router via SSH. So let's move to the next topic. And the next topic is HTTP and HTTPS configuration on the Cisco router.